I can't ever imagine, wanting to move on from Deebo. You put yourself through the exercises of, even though we don't have a first-round pick, you have to be thorough in this process and prepare for everything. And so you go through and do that. He's just too good of a player. I mean, you think of 2019, the 36th pick, to come up with someone like Deebo who, to me, has just been a game-changing player for our franchise. I've told Deebo this. I think he's the perfect illustration. Herm Edwards used to talk about when will meets skill, you've got the opportunity to be special. And I think Deebo probably embodies that as much as anyone. He's got tremendous will. He's a very talented player. I think by virtue of the way he plays, it's inspiring. And so to me, that entails leadership. Do you make people around you better? He checks that box. He's a great teammate. And, I think of things like prior to games, I get out there and he's always throwing the ball with the fans. I think he's been a great member of our community. So we've got nothing but love for him and nothing but appreciation for what he's bought. But you just don't let guys like that walk. So, I can't envision a scenario where we would.
Yeah, he's got all these great traits, but he doesn't want to be there anymore. That's the but, and it's a huge but. Oh, he's a great teammate, but he doesn't want to be on the team. He's great with the fans. He doesn't want to be interacting with those fans. He wants to go somewhere else. And look, again, to me, it doesn't scream out no way in hell. But it sure sounds like it's going to take a lot. Yeah. And the 49ers are at least sending a different message than we've gotten from some of these other teams that are willing to throw their hands in the air and trade a guy that doesn't want to be there. This new trend in the NFL, and even though other teams are doing it, there's an expectation that other teams will follow along. There's no requirement that the 49ers do it. They can say, no, we're not. Sorry. We understand his concerns. We acknowledge his request. We will not be fulfilling it. See you in July.
Yeah, exactly. I think that they're more apt to do that than the other teams, that's for sure. And I don't think they're just going to trade him away very easily. I think they're going to go down swinging in this fight. That's the way I kind of look at it. There's too many reasons why you would want to keep Deebo Samuel for the things we've stated last week. It's only going year 4. They drafted this guy in the second round. They're just, reaping the rewards of Deebo Samuel and everything that he can give to a football team. They're just at the tip of the iceberg of what he does for that. So they haven't even got their money's worth probably in a lot of ways, how they look at it. Then we talk about Trey Lance last week, right? Again, Trey Lance, nobody's going to take more pressure off Trey Lance than this guy. Just do this. Hey, Trey, hand it to this guy, and he'll run around the edge for 40 yards, and everybody go, look, we win games, and Trey, you're a winner. So there's that. He's, as you heard with Lynch, he's a leader. He's their best player on their football team. He kind of seems like the emotional lightning rod. So I think for all those reasons, that's where it's a little different than the Tyreek and Devontae Adams, especially with the fact that he's just about to hit the prime of his career. And I think that the 49ers are going to do all that they can do here to salvage this relationship and see if they can make it work all possible ways before they start to entertain trade conversations and things that we're talking about here, Mike. At least that would be my 2 cents just from what we hear and what we see on the outside looking in.
The problem is you've got the draft coming up in a couple of days. If you're going to trade him, this is the best opportunity to get current assets to replace him, to get fresh lottery tickets that you can utilize.
Sure.
And maybe they're not ready to utilize those lottery tickets to fill that receiver need. I think back to 2017. They didn't do a workup on the quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson because they thought the following year they were getting Kirk Cousins. They focused on other things. If they didn't have Deebo Samuel wanting to be traded on their bingo card before last Wednesday, they got caught flat-footed with this. As the draft is 8 days away, they have to process, number one, he wants out. Number two, what are we going to do to replace him? Sure. How are we going to figure this out? We just need to get him to play for one more year, and then we'll do it next year. Maybe that's the objective, and that's the agenda. It still befuddles me that they either didn't see this coming or that they actively did or said, or maybe passively failed to say or do something necessary to get him to want to be there. Because even if it is, I don't want to be in California. If your relationship with your employer is strong enough, you deal with being in California. yeah, I'd rather be closer to home, but I love the 49ers. I love this organization. I love the teammates. I love the community.
Yeah.
I love the fans.
Right.
Even though I'd rather be in South Carolina, I'll do this kind of like Aaron Donald in L.A. Yeah, I'd rather be in Pittsburgh, but I'll deal with a place that's 3,000 miles away from home because they take good care of me, and I like it here. So
no, it's rare.
There's got to be something that they could have done to prevent this, and now it makes me think there's got to be something they could do to fix it. But the same people who caused it, directly or indirectly, are the ones now entrusted to fixing it. So if they didn't know how to prevent it, how are they going to know how to fix it? That's what I keep coming back to. Do they really know what move to make, what speech to deliver, what message to communicate to get him to say, okay, instead of this, when the sign comes through the club, Deebo is staying, and he does that, how do you get him to just nod and say, yes, I am staying? I don't know. And I don't get the impression that they're moving heaven and earth to make it happen.
Well, that's where, again, that's where I bet you that's why Kyle Shanahan probably not at the press conference yesterday. It's as the word I used last week, a delicate situation to where, yes, you don't want to say anything or do anything, and you're not sure exactly what the hell's going on. I don't know. I could certainly see that being a possibility. So that certainly crossed my mind when I saw your article on Pro Football Talk last night. And two, what I also want to say was I don't think Shanahan's really gone to that press conference on a yearly basis anyways. Not that I can remember, because I did look it up last night after you said it. And
he was there last year.
Last year was the only year I could find that he was there. And, of course, they made a lot of trades, and that was a big year to be there. But, yeah, Mike, I don't know. Anybody you talk to in the league, I can't get anybody in the 49ers organization to give me 2 cents or give me even an inkling of what the hell's going on. Nobody seems to know exactly what it is. And here's the only thing that I've just another, notch or just something that I heard from somebody that's got a little knowledge with people in the situation on the Deebo side. And again, I don't know if this is 100% true, but negotiations with Nick Bosa, I think that was part of this conversation too. And that was what someone threw across my plate yesterday. Again, just food for thought here. I brought up the thing about not living in California. The other thing that was brought to my attention yesterday was that maybe the Nick Bosa contract was being done or worked on at first, and Deebo thought his needed to be done or addressed first, and there could be an issue there. But again, I don't know that, and that's not from anybody in the 49ers organization, but it is somebody that knows some people in football, and that's why I'm bringing it out here on the show.
The reality is any relationship like this is a chess match, and it could be three-dimensional chess. And you have to be careful about every move you make or every move you think about making, because you never know what's going to cause a guy to get pissed off.
Right.
And it surprises me because when we sat down with Deebo at the desk at the convention center the week of the Super Bowl, he seemed like a very reasonable, a very kind, a very humble human being who would not be irrationally or unreasonably pissed off. Sorry, Manchester, and hello to our friends in the UK and Ireland, if indeed the show is airing on Sky Sports tonight. I'm sure now that I've said that, my mailbox will be flooded with yes, it is, or no, it isn't. But what was I even talking about?
Well,
something happened.
Yes.
I want to know what gets him to say to a reporter, I want out. That is not some insignificant thing. Something happened. Somebody pissed this guy off. And did they do it on purpose? Did they do it accidentally? Did they do it with a calculated risk? Hey, you know what? Deebo is going to possibly be pissed off. Are we going to do this anyway? Yeah, let's go ahead and do it and see what happens. Like, was it deliberate or was it accidental? Sometimes I'll accidentally piss someone off, and I don't like that. I prefer to do it on purpose. Like, I don't want to waste a good pissing someone off by happenstance. I want to know that I'm doing it. I want to do it on purpose. I want to be in proper control of my faculties when I am or am not angering someone. When I piss someone off accidentally, it's like, I didn't mean to do that. I kind of wish I did, but I didn't mean to. Like, what happened? Like that, there's a
I know.
hell of a
I
story
hear
to
you.
be told.
I would think
as
so.
to how it got to this point.
I know. I mean, I'm dying to know. Again, it's the biggest story in the sport, and very few people know or have any clue outside the 49ers organization. I would doubt they did anything deliberately to piss off Deebo Samuel. I mean, Mike, I'm with you. I feel like my read was exactly like yours at the Super Bowl. A guy that was just a good guy, loved football, and loved playing for Kyle Shanahan. I mean, right? I mean, we were sitting there in full transparency. I mean, he was trying to call Kyle to be like, why are you friends with this guy? So, I mean, there was obviously the relationship was at a good point at that point. What happened? I don't know. I'm dying to know, too. Now, I mean, I've also thought, like, maybe it could be a lot of things that happen. Hey, you're young, you're emotional, you want to get paid, you know you're playing a physical position and you're important to your football team, so you want it now. No, wait, now, maybe you don't love living in California, so that's playing into it a little bit. Now you get on social media and there's the racist stuff and 49ers fans getting the backlash, and maybe you're just a little bit like, whoa, that, and then who knows? Maybe he calls the 49ers and they go, hey, yeah, we'll get to you, but we're just in the middle of doing Nick Bosa's thing. And then it's like, oh, whoa, there's 4 or 5 things that hit me left, right over a few-day period where you just go, man, screw this. Screw them. What the hell? I want my money. I thought this is where we were going. I mean, again, Mike, I'm just throwing crap out there right now.
Hey.
But I've been in their shoes before and been in that emotional state at that age to where, who knows? It could be all those things.
You may be onto something. It may be a stew of factors that just caused him to finally, last week, snap.
Yeah.
And the question is, will he walk back on his own? What do they do to get him to walk back? Can he be persuaded to walk back? For some people, once that last straw breaks the camel's back, there's no surgery in the world that's going to fix it.
Right.
It's done. For other people, some time passes and everything gets smoothed, or as the case may be, soothed over. I missed you. So I just don't know. And the 49ers are trying to figure this all out with the draft looming, with surely teams calling, not as many as maybe we thought. There were reports over the weekend, Jets, Lions, Packers were expressing initial interest, but everyone's on notice. Anybody that's got a trade package to put on the table for the 49ers has reason to do it. We all know that he wants out. He said so publicly. So make them an offer. See what happens. And that's part of this, too. You've got a guy who's had 1 All-Pro season in 3. He missed 9 games in 2020. He didn't come on until late in his rookie year. What are you absorbing into your organization, and how quickly can you get a return on that? Is it going to take more than a year to get your return? Or is it going to be like Terrell Owens in Philadelphia in 2004, Randy Moss in Minnesota in 2007, Stephon Diggs with the Bills in 2020, right out of the gates, hit the ground sprinting, fit right in, and go right off? I don't think there's enough body of work yet to fully appreciate that you are getting a guy that you just plug and play and he becomes superstar with you. I think that's one of the reasons why we're not hearing that everybody is trying to get Deebo Samuel.
Well, I think, you made a good point last week, is just as far as it is late in the game too, a little. Money, assets, things like that. People are they're a little farther down the road than usual when you find out a guy like this is available. So I do think that plays a part in it. Also, I think the 49ers, for all the reasons we just stated there, they want to keep him. They do. I mean, from all due accounts, it seems that way. It makes sense. And then, the value of the player too. I mean, Mike, you make a point there. Yeah, it's not as, a tried and true thing like Devontae Adams and Tyreek Hill yet, where man, they can do it every year. They've been doing it. I get that. But at the same time, he could be looking at it and going, yeah, but we're just about to take off. And so, I could see the 49ers going, wait, you gave that for Adams and Tyreek Hill, but our guy's just about to hit the prime. Those guys are like plateauing and on the way down. So we want more for that. And I think that can make that an issue too. And your questions about, can you hit the ground running? To me, that's where Deebo is valuable. You don't need to do a whole lot to get him hitting the ground running. Here's the ball, Deebo. Take it and run. Here's a screen, Deebo. Take it and run. Here's a toss. take it and run. Look how we indoctrinated you into the offense. See, he's easy. That's where I think his value is. Devontae Adams and that group, you got to think about, wait, we want to run this route and do that and this. Tyreek, we want to do this so we can get him down the field on the safety and all that. Deebo's a little different. He played with a quarterback that can't throw the ball much more than 5 yards down the field. I mean that sarcastically. And still got 18 yards per catch. So that's where I would go. I think you can hit the ground running in a hurry with him, Mike, if that made sense at all.
The budget side of it is real. I'm glad you reminded me of that because, look, if you're a team that wants to explore this, think about everything you've got to do on top of everything you were already planning to do. You've got your days mapped out from Wednesday, 8 days before the draft, until the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday when all of the frenetic undrafted free agent stuff really comes to a head and classes are announced. It's a lot to do. You got a lot to do. So you've already got it all mapped out. Now you've got this wrinkle, this big wrinkle that just gets thrown at you. Okay, wait a minute. Deebo Samuel wants to be traded by the 49ers. Well, God, I wish I would have known that when I was figuring out my schedule for the next 8 days.
Right.
Now what do I got to do? Well, we've already spent 95% of our budget for this year other than the money we're holding back to sign our draft picks. So do I really want to call the boss on his yacht and – what do I say? How do I couch this? He's going to want to know why I want more money in the budget. I better be ready to make a good case for this and how we would use him. And, and this owner, he seems to be pretty astute on, statistics and performance, and he pays attention. It's not going to be easy. I got to make a pretty good case here. I don't have time to put together all the facts and the hell with it. I just don't have time to mess with it. There's too many things that would have to happen. I mean, that may be part of it as well. You may have teams that are just saying, we don't even want to put the time and the effort into this because we can't. We got bigger fish to fry right now. We got more certain projects that we have to deal with, not something that is just a poof. Like, is it even going to potentially
that's
come?
Right.
Am I wasting my time?
Right.
Time that would be well spent on other things.
Right. Trying
to put together a trade package for a guy that I can't tell my owner confidently is going to make a huge difference for us in 2022.
I think you're kind of hitting on why maybe the market's not as aggressive and robust as we would think because of the reasons you clearly just stated, and then that. I would think the 49ers are not giving teams much of a conversation as of yet because they're trying to go down, like I said, swinging to salvage this relationship. So I would bet those two things alone have, quieted that conversation for now. You're right. And then, again, also, you're a team like the Lions or the Jets. You kind of got a plan. Wait, we got multiple draft picks here in the first few rounds, and hey, and they don't know exactly what they want to do, and man, it might be last second, and now we got to adjust our plan off of that, and it is a lot. It is. It's months of work here to position yourself the right way to have a plan for the draft, and all of a sudden you're going to go, wait, we're going to trade away a bunch of those guys that we just planned for here in the draft, and now we're going to get this guy, and now I got to reorganize what I'm going to do in the later rounds and figure out how we're going to fill some holes that way. So that to me has to be an issue, and maybe why there's not as many teams clamoring after a Deebo Samuel as we all might think there should be, which there should be. It's late. It's unusual.
For the 49ers, it may just be a run-out-the-clock situation. Get through the draft and hope things die down and see if he shows up for mandatory minicamp and keep working and working, much like the Packers did last year, trying to work on Aaron Rodgers as gently as they could to get him to eventually choose to show up. Because let's face it, at the end of the day, what is Deebo Samuel? If the 49ers say we're not trading you, what's he going to do?
Yeah, he's in a tough spot there.
Is he going to not play at all this year?
Right.
Is he just not going to show up, take a year off when he could be playing football somewhere, somehow, and if not earning the kind of money he wants this year, laying the foundation to get that money next year, puts him in a tough spot. And the challenge for the 49ers is to try to hold firm at a time when we have seen just this year, whether it's the Seahawks and Russell Wilson, the Texans and Deshaun Watson, the Packers and Devontae Adams, the Chiefs and Tyreek Hill, teams willing to give guys what they want, that creates an anticipation and an expectation by other players to get the same thing.
Yeah.
Not realizing, not every team says we want volunteers, not hostages. Not every team is going to accommodate you if you want out. Some teams are going to say, let's let this percolate.
Yeah.
Let's let this marinate. Let's have some time here and let's figure it out. And just through inaction, maybe Deebo changes his mind. You can't fully know whether or not that strategy works, Chris, unless you know what it is that's gotten him upset. And I hope at least at this point, Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch know what it is. If you don't know what it is by now, you may never know. But if you know what it is, you can come up with a plan for hopefully getting that genie back in the bottle, toothpaste back in the tube, whatever you have to do to set the clock back to last week when he hadn't asked for a trade.
Yeah, I know. I mean, again, that's where I'm like you. I'm curious as hell. I mean, again, I got everybody in media and football calling me because they think I know because I went to school with Kyle Shanahan and we're friends. I don't know. And he's certainly not going to tell me this when everybody's looking at me to go, well, let's see if this idiot here says something and gives us all a clue on what. I don't know. This is it's crazy. It's a crazy story that really nobody knows with this high profile of a player. That's where I'm like really intrigued by it.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.